Rob.
It is content. It was supposed to start a few minutes ago, but we were having technical difficulties. But if you watch content, you know that's how this goes. Hey, everyone. It's Saturday night content. I'm here with Stephen Barone and old pal of the show, ex-pal, and just all around pal. So,
Something like that.
Yeah. How you doing?
Not too bad yourself.
Oh, not too bad at all. Tonight we're going to be talking about it, just whatever pops in our head, but focusing on, as you see in the little corner up there, we're at the movies tonight. We're going to be talking about a movie that Stephen suggested called Walkabout. He suggested 5, of which I had seen, I think 3 of them.
Oh, okay.
Let me check. I'm going to check to see what you sent before, but I know I had seen Gentlemen Broncos.
Okay.
Which is one you suggested, which is a classic. It's just such a good movie. Ghost World. I have seen that, but it was in theaters when it came out, and I haven't seen it since.
Same here. I mean, I've seen it several times since then, but
so I might have seen it when it came out on DVD as well, but it's been a while. So I haven't seen 3 of them: Safe, Walkabout, and Naked. But
and it's one of those things, like, you're asked to like name or pick, certain movies.
Mm-hmm.
Then afterwards it's like, oh wait, I didn't think of like even like a whole genre of movies like horror or this or that. And
mm-hmm.
So you just forget a slew of like films that you could have thought of. But I mean, I'm happy with those picks. I mean, I think Walkabout is I did choose Walkabout as one of the films because it is a favorite of mine. Though after probably seen it a dozen times. I mean, I still like it quite a bit, but obviously there's certain movies you may like more on the first viewing, and then subsequent viewings may not be as powerful. But I mean, I still enjoy it as a movie.
Yeah. But before we get into that, let's talk about just some random stuff, because the first question I wanted to ask, on X, you've seen me talking about Vampire Diaries, and you mentioned you might start watching it. Did you start watching?
I have not. No. When it comes to like television, I don't know. Like, I do spend like maybe like the last couple hours of my nighttime watching like movies or TV, even though I do try to get some reading done, which I mean happens like right before I go to bed. But that, maybe adds up to about 2 pages before I conk out. Because I mean, as it is, like, even when I come home from work, I'm already exhausted anyways. But so no, I have not watched Vampire Diaries. I will, because is that from like the early 2000s?
I think early 2000.
Is it like a WB show?
It's I realized that I have not seen the first season. Because my wife was watching it. And she had tried to get me to watch it previously, and I'm like, I don't care about that. But she was watching it, and one day I'd come home from work and see a little bit, and then next day I'd see a little bit, and then sooner or later I'm just I get home from work and I'm supposed to be heading into the shower, and I'm just standing by the watching the show. And it's not like it's like Game of Thrones quality, it's a CW show, definitely.
But well, I mean, like back then though, CW was like king of television, like in the early 2000s. I mean, I've seen every episode of Gilmore Girls because of like that kind of similar thing you're talking about, because my wife would watch it all the time, especially once she got like the DVDs. So I think actually when it was actually airing, we were actually on the East Coast, and we didn't actually have television at the time just because of our situation. But I think once we moved out here, I think it was already on like DVD, and she started watching them all the time. So, and it was, about probably that same time Vampire Diaries came out, and I don't know. So it's just things like that, like, who you live with and so forth. It just kind of definitely has a say in what you end up watching.
Yeah, and what T-shirts you end up buying? Because I I went and bought a few T-shirts, but it was as part of my Valentine's Day gift to my wife
Oh,
was
okay.
uh, Valentine's Day Vampire Diary T-shirts that we would wear all day.
Oh, okay. I imagine. I mean, you must have had to search for those. I think. Was that like an Etsy buy?
So they have like official ones that are
Oh,
because
okay.
it's still fairly popular show, I
Oh,
guess.
is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
but there's only a couple of them that were any good of the official stuff, which I
yeah.
got those ones, and then um, actually, I'm wearing one right now of one of the characters,
Oh, okay.
actors.
I'm like
Ian,
looking over as if
yeah, yeah. Ian Somerhalder plays Damon, but uh, and you can see that like it's not quite great printing.
uh
It's kind of I don't know, pixelated and
Is he in
the,
anything else these days? Is he someone that this? No, okay. It
no,
looks
he
like
pretty much did
just that
that.
was his one thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. He
his
cashed
his
out.
his whole he's a big eyebrow actor.
Oh, okay. Like you
Like
like
his
the crack
eyes are
necklace.
his
Yeah.
money makers.
Yeah.
But so yeah, no, I started watching it and like got really into it, and now I'm just trying to find people to talk to about it.
Yeah. I mean, is that all like close to like an Angel or Buffy, or is it just more like high school melodramatic?
It sticks to the high school stuff. Sometimes it's ridiculous
Yeah.
because they are like, I mean, most of the actors started off mid to late 20s playing high school students.
Oh, right, right.
By
Oh,
season 8, they're obviously, full grown adults and like they move them into college and stuff, but they're still worried about like
oh.
they're
Vampires in
still
college.
yeah, they're still worried about like dances and
Yeah.
things like that. And just like, really, you're super worried about the dance this weekend when everyone you know is being murdered.
Yeah, yeah. Is it like the one character is a vampire, or is it multiple vampires?
Oh, at some point, every single person turns into a
Oh,
vampire.
okay.
But the
While
basic
they're still
story is
worrying about the big dance.
yeah, yeah, it is. But the basic, like, it's two brothers who've been vampires. They fall in love with the one girl, the same girl,
Oh.
and then they
Oh,
end up like there's
so it's a little
werewolves.
Twilight-esque?
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know which one came out first, but
Yeah.
it's just cheesy enough that I just like, yeah,
It's
I
still
really,
yeah.
really dig this.
No,
But
I mean, I'm definitely guilty of watching plenty of cheesy television. I mean,
did you ever watch
especially
Supernatural?
a little bit. I mean, I know of that because obviously having watched Gilmore Girls,
Mhm.
the one guy was a recurring character on Gilmore Girls, so
Yeah.
one of the brothers. So I mean, I've seen a couple episodes. I haven't like gotten into too many of like the CW shows like that. Like I tried watching like Arrow and
Mhm.
Smallville and stuff like that, kind of the more superhero stuff. But even then, like, yeah, they haven't really grabbed me. But I haven't
Yeah.
really given it too much of like an effort either. But
Yeah.
um,
I the Supernatural's a little too episodic for me.
oh, okay,
Like there's the main two brothers and then like their dad. I guess it gets more serialized later on, but I haven't I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm like, it's not catching on. Like it's not reaching me.
yeah.
But
I mean, it went on for a long time. They had a crap load of seasons.
yeah, a bunch of
Yeah,
them, which is kind of why I wanted to try it out because it's like,
right.
you
Yeah,
run out
get
of
it
stuff to
worked.
watch after. Yeah.
Yeah, I did start watching, even though I'm not. It's only 2 seasons long. Wayward Pines. Did you heard of that one? It's from like
I
2016. It's got a heck of a cast, which is surprising that it wasn't more popular. Like Matt Dillon,
hmm,
Juliette Lewis, Terrence Howard. It's based on like this sci-fi novel. I think it might be a series, but a
mhm,
novel called Wayward Pines. I think it was on. I don't know if it was Apple TV. I think I don't know. It's on
yeah,
Hulu
yeah,
right now.
oh, yeah,
But I mean, like the premise isn't all that original. It's kind of like a town that you can't escape from. You're kind of
yeah.
being held there by the government. But like M. Night Shyamalan produced it, and the Duffer Brothers
Hmm,
had some part of it as well.
yeah,
It's okay. Like I think I'm 4 or 5 episodes into it.
yeah.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah, I mean, it is tough because as much as, you know, you wanna, like, relax and stuff, there's always that thing in the back of your mind, like, "I should be doing something more
Oh,
important."
yeah, God, yeah. Yeah.
You
No,
know,
totally.
if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, that's, like, you know, time with, like, the Vampire Diaries, that was, like, my wife and myself, that was our kinda, like, thing,
Yeah.
but I if we're not finding something that we both are into, you know, and it's just like, oh, we'll just throw this on just because it's like I could be doing something else, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's rough because it's like get home, it's like you do like the normal, stuff. It's like, all right, like cook dinner, spend time with my son.
Mhm.
Once he goes to bed, like it's still like cleaning up, I feel like you're constantly cleaning. And then
Yeah.
like once that's all done, it's just like, oh my God, like you just want to drop dead. So it's like, to do anything productive just seems impossible,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And then just I don't know if I have some sort of you know, slight touch of narcolepsy. I could fall asleep at any moment, anywhere. Like
Yeah. I think
I
that's
don't
just
I d
all getting older. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
But
that's why I think, yeah.
I've also got like, you know, you got a young boy. I've got actually in a kind of a empty nest situation right now
Oh, okay.
because even my son, who's the youngest, is living with his mom this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
so right, right. I mean,
and
how's that feeling?
um not bad.
Yeah.
There's some days where it's like, you know, it's too quiet,
Yeah.
you
Cause,
know.
cause like at the height of like your fatherhood, like what was the most kids that you've had in the household?
Um the most at one
Yes.
time was one, two, three, four, five.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that's a
So
lot of energy.
yeah. And, you know, there was, the older, like, teen boys were, up, like, all night long, you know, cooking food in the middle of the night. There was
Yeah,
always, like, movement and action, you know,
something, yeah.
yeah, you know, my son would be watching his goofy YouTube shows through the day, and you'd hear him laughing and you
Yeah.
know the familiar sounds. But I think I'm doing better than my wife. I think
Oh,
she's
okay.
definitely missing all the noise and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, but it's also not bad because I can hang out with you know being having gotten remarried
Uh-huh.
and we both had kids. um, we kind of didn't get that time together that, you know, a young couple would get before
Oh,
they had
gotcha.
kids or
Right,
whatever, you know?
right. 'Cause
So
yeah.
it is kinda nice to have that, you know?
Yeah, right. Do you feel like I'm just curious as a parent because like my son he's 8 years old now,
Mhm.
so I mean still got a lot to experience. But do you feel like you worry about them more now that you're not like they're not there with you, or did you worry about them more when they were there with you?
Um, I
As
was
if
actually just thinking about that the other day about, you know, like, when they're sick
yeah.
and, you know, when they're little, like, when my kids were little and they got sick, you know, we'd move into the living room, the sick kid and dad would move into the living room so that, you know, they wouldn't wake their sibling who they shared their room with or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and, I do miss that, and I do wonder, like, if they get sick now, what do they do? You know, do
Right.
they have
Yeah.
that same
Who's taking care of them?
Yeah, I got my oldest is married, so, you know,
Okay.
she's got, but you know, the other 2, younger of the older ones, and then um, the 2 boys, they're well, he's, one of them's in the military,
Oh, okay.
and he's just got married, so, you know, he's got someone to help take care of him and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But still, yeah, there's that kind of stuff going on where it's just like, you know, um, if they get a flat tire or something, um, is it
Right, right.
the same kind of thing? Are they gonna be, like, calling somebody else kind of you know?
Yeah, 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 it's like, did you teach them, prepare them well enough, it's sorta,
Yeah, yeah.
deal too? Yeah.
Yeah, are they gonna be reaching out to their boyfriend before and are they smart enough to fix it, fix a tire or whatever?
Yeah, yeah. Shoot, I worry about that for myself at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
It's funny, like when I was a teenager, I used to get so many flat tires.
Mhm,
Just in terms of experience, like or just how things have changed. And
mhm.
I mean, I would always change them, but like on my own, because I'd always have like a spare.
Yeah.
But now it's like cars don't really have spares anymore. You usually don't have a spare with your cars anymore. So now
Mhm.
it's like, oh man, now I gotta like call someone, wait, get it towed.
Yeah.
When before, like I just always take care of it on my own, or something, because you wouldn't have a cell phone to call anybody, or
Yeah.
you'd have to walk a mile or two to get to like a payphone.
Mhm.
And so it's like back then you actually had to be prepared and actually be ready to like take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas now with technology, we are like become more dependent on like other people or other things to like
Mhm.
instead of just being prepared ourselves in a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
One time, the only time really that I've ever done any sort of off-road vehicle stuff, the only time I've ever done it, uh, there was oh man, I can't remember how many years ago it was, but there was like meteor showers going on,
Uh,
and it was like, oh, let's drive out. Me and my brother, let's drive out to this hill that's half an hour out of town, and there's a road that goes to the top of the hill, and go watch the meteors in the middle of the night. So we did that.
nice.
Apparently, I don't know how to drive over rocks correctly because by the time I got back down the hill, I had three flat tires.
Oh wow.
And
That,
none of them were punctured. It was just the way I ran over the rocks, popped the seal, and on the side. So yeah, I was like, well, I'm not meant for this, so I won't be doing that anymore.
yeah. Well, at least you get to see a meteor shower. That's always,
Yeah, it was pretty
yeah,
nice.
that's pretty rad. That's nice.
And I mean, now where I live, there's plenty of fairly well kept dirt roads I can take to tops of hills. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because you're in Boise, right?
yeah, yeah.
So you like right in the city or outskirts?
Sort of outskirts. Yeah, like probably. I think most people who would come out to our house would all. Well, actually, they all do say the same thing. Boy, it takes so long to get out here, but
Yeah,
I'm used to it, so
yeah.
it doesn't
Okay.
seem that long.
Like, are
It's
you?
we're
Oh,
just a few minutes from the freeway, so it's like
oh,
pretty
okay.
quick to get. Yeah, so
Right. So it doesn't take long to get,
yeah, yeah.
to like a hospital or a grocery store or any of that
Yeah,
stuff.
no, no, no.
Okay.
But that's also relative, I guess, because in Boise it takes easily 30 minutes to get anywhere any time of the day. I mean, like, yeah, it's and it's getting worse because everyone's moving here.
Oh, so you mean just like traffic wise?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't been to Boise. I've been over here for quite a while, and I still haven't made it across the border. So I gotta get there at some point. Um, yeah, been meaning to at some point, and gotta get there in Utah at some point as well.
Yeah, you just gotta hit the nice spots.
Yeah,
it gets pretty dry and plain in some parts, but
yeah. I kind of I don't know, with all the rain we get here, man. I kind of like the dry desert, like
oh yeah.
scenery area. It's to some degree,
Mhm.
obviously. I don't know if I want to live there, but visiting, once in a while gets kind of arid environments a little
Yeah.
nice once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever do get up here, you let me know and we'll go
Yeah, yeah,
grab
definitely.
take you somewhere good to eat or whatever.
Yeah, that would be definitely good.
Yeah. Also, let's talk about filthy, dirty, filthy, and dead. Filthy, dirty, and dead.
Yeah, yeah, the dirty, the filthy, and the dead. Yeah,
Yeah. I get all the words. It's
yeah,
just the
no,
two
that's all
first
right.
ones.
It's probably too
Um,
long of a title, but when I
it's all
first
good.
wrote it, I tried to come up with like a dozen different names, and just nothing was really sticking. And so that was the one that kind of stuck. But
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually a pretty decent name. It's not bad at all. I have an idea for a story, and the title I just thought of about 3 weeks ago, and I'm still not sure about
uh,
it. I don't want. I'll tell you. I'll tell you afterwards because
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's really good and someone
Yeah.
might steal it, or if it's really bad.
Well, I guess it depends on like what your premise is too. So
Yeah,
it could be great depending on the premise. And so
yeah.
yeah, it is.
But
But yeah.
you're working on number two.
I mean, starting to, yeah, hopefully pretty soon. I mean, I'm trying to push out the first issue more so. Like I got it in a few stores around here.
Mhm.
I'm trying to. I was like really trying harder a few weeks ago, but I've kind of slowed down on that. So I gotta get
Yeah,
back on the campaign trail and push, try to hit
yeah,
some more stores and get it in there. Because I mean, obviously, when putting into stores, they're not taking 100 copies or
yeah.
it's only like 5 or 4 here and there.
Mhm.
So, but there are a lot of comic shops around here. So if I can just get it into different parts of the city,
Yeah,
even if just 1 or 2 sell, that'll still be something, and hopefully that'll be a new reader for when the next issue
mhm,
gets on, probably most likely Kickstarter, since that's where the first issue or the first campaign was.
mhm.
And hopefully trying to make a little bit of money off of it just to help finance the second issue.
Yeah.
But it'll be very, very little money. But
Seems to be the case with crowdfunders.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm assuming like your area, the Portland area, is pretty good in the comic stores with like local promoting, like putting local books out there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's weird. I mean, I'm in 3 places right now, but only one of them's a comic shop. So I'm in,
hmm,
or I've had a few issues in Cosmic Monkey Comics, but the other 2 is like, one's a bookstore, and the other is kind of like a novelty gift shop that's like down the street from me. It's called Made in Milwaukee. So the city I live in is Milwaukee,
mhm,
Oregon, and it's just kind of like kind of a consignment place for like local artists and stuff like
yeah,
that. And so they do like zines and magazines or books of like local authors, if I can talk.
yeah,
So I have some issues in there, but it's definitely like, yeah, at least a dozen other comic shops I need to hit up. I just need to stop being lazy. And it's one of those things, you get that immediate like rush of like, okay, I finally got issues, I need to go canvas everywhere.
yeah,
And after you do a few, you think like, oh, like, well, they're already in these places, like no one's gonna like want them in these other places. But it's like, well, they don't really know about them in the other shops anyway. So
mhm,
just because it's old to you doesn't mean it's not new to them. And so you got to kind of tell yourself that stuff as you're doing this thing.
yeah.
Because I've been working on this damn thing for like 2 years. So it's like old as dirt to me, but you got to realize, for someone who hasn't seen it or hasn't come across it, it's brand new to them.
Yeah.
And so you got to kind of keep telling yourself that.
Have you gotten much feedback about the book?
No, not really.
No.
So I don't know either. Yeah. So maybe people think nothing of it. I don't know. It is on. I did just publish it today on Global Comics.
Oh,
So
nice.
there is, so you can read it digitally.
Mhm,
And so, yeah, so you could go on Global Comics, and I think that's how you pronounce it, Global Comics,
mhm.
and yeah, look at it digitally. So I was waiting to do that because I wanted to make sure I got all the backers
Yeah,
taken care of before putting it out there.
yeah,
So I don't know if I did it quite correctly. I mean, it is available on Global Comics. So you might get like the first few pages free, and then have to like pay like a small fee to read the rest.
yeah. I think
Just to
that's
make a couple bucks. But
yeah. I think
um,
um, like you get if you have because I had Global Comics for a little bit,
okay.
and then I realized I wasn't reading nearly enough comics to justify the cost.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Even though it's like what, $6 a month.
Oh, is it?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but like
I should know this. But
I was reading. I've been doing better lately with
okay.
reading comics
No, you
because
you do quite well. You get a lot. I mean, you're a great backer. You back a lot of stuff. So
Do I read them though? That's the question.
Well, I mean, listen, like I'm down in my basement right now, and I got like I'm surrounded by hundreds of books. Most of them never read, and probably I'll never read. But I got a sickness where I just like, ooh, well, maybe I'll get to this before I die. So
I got my read pile somewhere over here, but or need to read pile.
Yeah, and, my whole basement's my need to read pile. I mean, it's just kind of, even today I got another book because I was selling off other books, and I always feel bad, like, oh well, I don't want them to just buy my books. I don't get anything, so I got that kind of stupid, like, like good patron mentality where it's like, oh, I have to buy something, or I'll look like a jerk. I have to spend my money, or they'll think I'm an asshole.
I do the same thing when I have to use a public restroom.
Oh yeah, right. Oh well, I guess we're good consumers.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else that I wanted to talk to you about?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully though, like the second issue, I mean, like we'll hopefully, Miguel will be able to get started, and we can get, I think if the campaign actually launches, maybe it'll be like hopefully like late summer for issue 2. It's just, maybe like how much money I have on me.
Yeah.
Like make it happen. It's a very costly affair.
Yeah. I think those were the 2 big points I want to touch on before we got into talking about the movie that we watched.
I got a question for you though, real quick.
Yes, sir.
The last time I was on this show, we were talking about a very special coworker of yours, and I was wondering if you still have that issue with that special coworker.
I ended up getting used to him.
Oh, okay.
For the most part, there were still days where he would, his talking would get just too much. But he ended up, we hit a slow spell, and he ended up having to move on to another job.
Okay.
So I haven't talked to him for a while, but yeah, no, actually, by the time he left, I was actually sad to see him go. I thought there wouldn't be a day where I'd be like, oh, that's too bad.
One of those things you can get used to anything sort of affairs. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's but I think it's this, I think that happens no matter what you're doing. If you've been with something or somewhere long enough, even if you kind of don't like it, there's still always that thing of like, oh, it's change. It's, you're moving into a new era or whatever. And it's always, it always kind of feels that way sometimes, but even getting a new car.
Right. Yeah. That's funny.
But yeah, let's give me my switch over to my thing.
Sorry,
and let's
my squeaky chair like coming in as like sound.
Yeah, it's not bad though. It's not
bad. I'll try. Sorry.
No worries.
I got the fidgets.
The movie you chose, the movie I chose out of the movies you suggested was Walkabout. Tell me about hey, change my little thing. But tell me about your first time, how you got introduced to this movie, and kind of what it's how it's played a part in your life. Why is it one of your favorites?
I mean, I think it's one of those movies that used to, like, when I was younger, we used to like we did have cable when I was a kid, and I think we had like Cinemax, HBO, and I don't know if you remember this cable channel station, the Movie Channel.
Oh yeah,
did you guys have the Movie Channel out here? And so they'd always show like really random stuff, more so than like the bigger cable channels. And I think it used to come on, or it might have even been on like at the time like A&E, when that actually used to show like stuff before it became like trash.
Yeah.
But I remember it was playing on like it was one of those movies that would get shown every once in a while on like one of the cable station when I was a kid. And I'd always catch glimpses of it, and mostly like the beginning part of it. And I was always like curious, like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, seeing it as like a kid and just always like just seeing glimpses. I was always like fascinated by it, but I would never watch the whole thing because it just seemed like, I don't know, it wasn't for me. But then like later on, like when I went to college, like like I'd seen, so Nicholas Roeg, he directed Don't Look Now. I don't know if you'd ever see that movie.
Mhm.
Okay, it's probably yeah.
I was going to do that today, is look up if the director had done anything else. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, like I was kind of, not I'll say obsessed, but I enjoyed him a lot as a director when I was younger. So he did Don't Look Now. That's like Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie. It's probably his most famous movie. It's considered like one of the best like British movies ever made. And it's kind of considered slightly like horror. It has like a very famous love scene in it, or sex scene. It's just, it's a good movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it. And so, I enjoyed that. And so I think because of that movie, then I started looking into his other movies. And this was one, this was probably like one of the next movies of his that I like watched. He also did like, The Man Who Fell to Earth with David Bowie.
Oh yeah.
That's probably like his other like big movie that other people know. Oh, and he co-directed this movie Performance with Mick Jagger, and that's really just kind of more famous because of Mick Jagger being in it. It might have been like one of the first movies he ever starred in. It's not one of the better movies he's done, so it's kind of boring. But yeah, so I mean, like I like this movie like because of like Nicholas Roeg. I mean, I just always liked his style. I think he was just pretty like inventive with his just very stylistic, the direction. Like he was also a cinematographer, so he photographed Fahrenheit 451, the Francois Truffaut film. That's one of, and he done a bunch of other movies too that I don't know off the top of my head as a cinematographer before becoming a director. And he's just like, I was always obsessed too with like directors who kind of like had like success with maybe 2 or 3 movies that were considered, maybe minor masterpieces or masterpieces, but then kind of like hit a downward slope really big time. And that's kind of like Nicholas Roeg. Like there's like him, like maybe like Paul Schrader, William Friedkin, John Frankenheimer, all these guys who are famous for maybe did 2 or 3 movies that are like really famous or considered masterpieces. But then after that, just kind of did a bunch of movies that are, not as nearly as good. Yeah. And so I've always been fascinated by those directors who kind of had this hot peak or streak, and then just kind of flamed out afterwards. And he's kind of one of those directors who's like that.
Makes you wonder if it's do they use all their good ideas and then they're just out of them, or do they?
Yeah, well, even if you watch his movies that like are not as good or not considered as good, they're not necessarily like bad. I mean, they're still more interesting than like garbage you'd see today. I think, I was trying to think about that. I think it's because like just more of the time, because like his more successful movies were in the 70s, but then like when the 80s came around, I think it was just more of like kind of a money thing, partly too, like how things were financed. So I think maybe in the 70s, like guys like him, William Friedkin, who did, Exorcist and French Connection, even him when the 80s came around, like their movies just weren't the same. And it might've been just because the money guys were just kind of like, hey, you have to do this a lot quicker. And and they just kind of had maybe more constraints put on them. And so I think that kind of maybe cut off like their ability to kind of do what they wanted to. Cause like this movie, like Walkabout, like I listened to the commentary track on it, and they just kind of meandered around Australia for 3 months without really much of a script. I guess the script was like 15 pages long. And so the rest of it was them just kind of filming as they went, depending on what they kind of felt like, or like how the environment like allowed, what the environment allowed them to see. What's that?
What they got lucky to see that day.
Yeah. So, what I mean? And so I guess, when like probably the 80s came around, or like, different people were financed, and they didn't have the luxury to just wander around for 3 months to, just do what they wanted to.
Yeah, that was one of the things I noticed was very light on dialogue. A lot of show without tell, but also I don't know how we'll get into some of that in a little bit. But if you're watching right now and you haven't seen this movie and you want to, we're gonna. I've got how many slides? 61 slides and 3 videos.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to talk about the whole thing.
Well, you prepared. I was expecting that.
But first thing I did notice though was like you said, he's a cinematographer first, and it's beautifully shot. Like there's almost no shot in this movie you couldn't pause at and be like, wow, that looks good.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it too. I mean, especially like it had probably been a few years since I actually had last watched it, because I actually rewatched it last night, but with the commentary track, because I hadn't listened to that in a while. And I mean, I used to like listen to commentary tracks all the time when I was younger, but it's not something I do anymore. But I just wanted to kind of just see if they had anything to add to it. But in terms of like the angles and the compositions, it's not stuff you'd see in movies these days. A lot of like close-ups, and they didn't really talk about what kind of lenses they used, but they did mention, like to get some of the wacky shots, they had some of the actors even holding the camera at times, and
I saw a couple of those. Yeah.
And just the precarious like situations they had, like the little boy, and just to get the shot, like around cliff edges and things like that. And the little kid in the movie is his son, actually.
Oh, really?
It's pretty impressive that the kid is so good in the movie, because I think he's only like 6 years old in the movie, and to like be taken direction like from your parent in that kind of role, it's pretty impressive that he's like as kind of like genuine as like like he doesn't come off as, like, at least to me, like fake in the movie.
We got fellow Treasure Valleyite Timothy Olsen. Hey, how's it going? He came off very much childlike, like just plain, not like precocious, not like
exactly. Not like wiser beyond his years, like a lot of kids do in movies.
One of and let's see what I got for so this is one of the earlier shots that I actually, you know what, let me go back to one of the earlier than this. The very first thing as the movie opens is a montage of shots of characters who apparently have no names. They might say the little boy's name. I don't remember though, but she might call to him at some point. But sister, little boy, and the dad. But these shots come up in pretty quick succession. These 3 shots panning past the wall to different places. Found that, that was like right away. It's like catches the eye, and clearly trying to tell us something. Like there's some point to it. The from the hustle and bustle of the city, and then just dead silent out there in the desert.
And I mean, I like the whole rhythm of the montage too. They got the girl doing like the breathing lessons, like, as I think it's like a elocution class she's in, and kind of they show her doing that, and then so like opening up a movie like with just like the music and the rhythm of the cutting back and forth, but without introducing. So it means like they're really introducing their daily lives, but like, in a movie today, you would just get someone driving their car, listening to the radio, maybe kissing the kids and, wife and kids goodbye. But like the same kind of opening you'd see in a million movies.
So in this movie, the radio plays a huge part. Do in the commentary, like, okay, when you watched it previous to like commentary, how did you read that?
Yeah, I think it was like they're kind of like still trying to connect with like civilization, like they're still hanging on to like um their civility, like the like their like marnidity. I don't know how to say the word. But like they're the like last like refuge of their civilization.
Mhm,
And I think also too, I think in their weird way, I I think they thought like it was a way for them to still try to communicate
mhm.
with the world, like their world,
Yeah.
and maybe somehow they could even talk back in like a naive way.
Mhm,
And also too, like it's a pretty good essay. Roger Ebert, so he has like a series of books with all his film reviews in them called the Great Movies.
mhm,
And it's all his movies that he gave like top reviews to, like his 4-star like movies, and this is one of them. And
mhm,
in his like review of it, he talks about the whole movie being about communication.
mhm.
And and his thing is to, well, jumping towards the end, but the ending, like the ending, what happens to the Aborigine is
Mhm.
his idea of like it being a miscommunication between the individuals in the movie. And so that's why that happens to that individual at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But his whole thing, like why he loved the movies, because he thought it was like a movie about communication and how these three different people are trying to communicate while trying to survive, and how the miscommunication ends up, of like the demise of that one individual,
Yeah.
partly. But yeah,
You could even, if that's kind of the undertone, I guess, of the movie, you could even tie that into the reason why the dad does what he does, because
yeah,
there's some miscommunication there for sure.
yeah,
But so yeah, right off the bat, there's city life, home life, these people's day how they live in civilization in the bustle of the city and stuff. Um, but yeah, like little shots. Like I didn't get. Like I said before, I could have gotten so many more frames from this movie. Directly
yeah.
after this, the wife gets watermelon out of the fridge, and she's screen right, and the husband walks in from the right of a door behind her, stops. She then passes in front of him, and then he looks, and then it's like so just
I,
beautiful,
I
beautiful
do,
shots.
do gotta I do gotta cut to the chase though. Like overall, did you like the movie?
I
Uh oh.
For the
Right.
most part,
Okay.
there were definitely I didn't get stuff like I didn't understand what
Yeah.
the heck was happening, which we'll get to when we get to them. But
Totally.
we'll continue on and talk about parts that let's see. So yeah, previously in that video, the last pan from the brick wall was to the father, the daughter, and the son in their little VW bug in the middle of the desert, and
Yeah.
apparently, uh, seems as though dad's had some money problems. They don't explain it at all,
No.
but
I
you
would.
kind of get the point.
I kind of appreciate that in some movies. Like I like, because I mean, when you do explain everything, then you're gonna get like, oh, well, then why would they do that? If like I would never
Yeah.
do. You get all those kind of like comments. Whereas if there's,
Mhm.
and plus, like when people do exactly what happens in this scene, there's always those questions of why they do that anyways. In real
Yeah.
life, and so I think that kind of this cut sort of captures that, that asks the question, oh, why did they do this? And I
Mhm.
think in real life, we ask those questions when these sort of situations arise. Even if you do have, a bit of an answer, you still ask those questions.
Yeah. And that there was a mild lead up to it in that it showed him on the roof of his, I'm assuming his office building, kind of sitting down with a like a sigh, and then him kind of thinking about whatever he's thinking about when the kids were swimming. So but just yeah, it was just a very sudden, like you said, like why do people do these things, and how does it just click like this?
Yeah.
This is a good scene for that. Like it just, yeah, it's a tough scene. But the dad has brought the kids out to the desert to apparently do a little murder
Yeah.
suicide thing.
Murder,
He's
suicide,
whatever's
yeah.
going
Yeah.
on, yeah, whatever's going on in his life is bad enough
Right.
that
I mean, the one thing I do
see from
appreciate,
that.
I mean, I do usually dislike movies where they show like violence towards kids. So like I'm glad like
Mhm.
in this, like the kids don't get hurt. In
Yeah.
this. I mean, obviously he is trying to hurt them, but it almost seems sort of like a half-assed attempt,
Mhm.
in a way.
He doesn't
But
chase them.
yeah, it's like if I do get them, I do, but if I don't, like I'm still gonna just take care of myself anyways. And I think
Yeah.
maybe also I think well, they're in the middle of like the outback, so I think partly like he doesn't try too hard because he figures, well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna abandon them out here in the desert, so they're probably gonna die anyways, which probably maybe worse. But that luckily that doesn't happen.
um Again, just little shots, just here and there, just great framing, beautiful pictures.
Yeah,
um
which you wonder why though, like in movies today, like why they can't do like just some unique shots like that, where it's like a movie today they would just show the whole like fire the whole time or something like that,
mhm.
where it's like you can be a little more creative and it doesn't have to come off pretentious.
Yeah.
But,
Or even like that last one, um the feeling that audience as well as the kid needs to be completely traumatized by seeing the most horrible things, when this is enough for the kid to kind of figure out. He gets it at some point. He knows dad's dead.
yeah,
So
and
just
yeah, and the sister doesn't let him go back either. She kind of drags
mhm.
him along, which is a pretty good scene too, because like even as they're running away, if you watch, he's actually not running, she's literally dragging him, like
Yeah.
he's on the sand being drug away, dragging away.
Yeah. um Bugs and rot also play a big part in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of fly. Watching it last night, I was like, wow, I didn't realize how many flies are in this movie. There's like a ton of flies in this movie.
Mhm. Have you I don't know, so you originally from back east, right?
Yeah.
What's the fly situation in in the places you've lived?
The worst I've ever seen it was when I spent a summer in New Hampshire. They had like if you go up there, we were there during like I guess they call it like black fly season.
Mm.
Um, and so it's like kind of like when were we there? Might have been like May or April, and like man, we were just like getting eaten alive. We were like in the White Mountains, doing like some like trail maintenance, like in a bunch of different spots and like at these summer camps.
Mm.
But like it was disgusting. Like they were just all over the place and then like biting you too. So it's like you're getting
Yeah.
bitten as well. And it was nasty. But that was probably like the worst I've seen it. Like other than like being in places where there's like lots of mosquitoes.
Yeah, yeah.
But in terms of like
I
just flies though, yeah.
I've lived pretty much in arid, areas my whole life. Not too bad for flies. We,
Uh-huh.
drove back to Illinois, to see where my dad grew up at one point, and the flies there were just terrible, at least as far as I'm concerned, they were terrible.
Yeah.
But we talked to people. He would see someone he knew from back when he was a kid, and they're still living in the same house, and we'd stop and he'd talk to them about life, and the flies would just crawl in the face. They wouldn't swat them. They're just used to it. I'm
Yeah.
just like, it's crazy. But one of the things, yeah, the bugs, the rot, all the thing that I saw a lot of was kind of entropy played a
Hmm.
big part in this movie. And I'm gonna have to like go find the Blu-ray or whatever and listen to the commentary track too, because I want to know why. there was so much.
Yeah, I don't know if the commentary track that's gonna satisfy you, but but I mean, yeah, I think they might overdo it a little bit, but I guess the it's also just because they are in the outback, and so they're well, I guess it's also too like I read the book too. I actually just finished it today, because I had been wanting to read it too anyway, so this gave me a reason to read it. It's a really short book. And it does differ from the movie quite a bit, but it is still like the boy and the girl are younger in the book, and so is the Aborigine boy. He's younger in the book as well. But what does specify and talk about in the book that you kind of see more in the movie, but it's not obviously mentioned, is just the idea about survival. Especially in the book, it definitely is more of a survival story. And the idea of the Aborigines, it just talks about how their whole existence is just constant survival, and death is always like one step behind them, and so it's constantly like looking for food, looking for water, and the book stresses that a lot. And so I think that's what they were kind of trying to show with the movie, is that it's just kind of like not necessarily kill or be killed, but it's just the idea that like you're either gonna die or you're gonna survive, and
that's kind of how I was kind of reading it. Was entropy is always the fight that we're fighting, and to have it that much closer where especially in a place where everything's trying to kill you, apparently in Australia, they didn't touch a whole lot on in this point, like a creepy spider, but they didn't really get into so that wasn't a lot of it, but it was still a lot of struggle to survive. But so boy and girl, dad offs himself, they head out into the desert, and it's basically they're trying to survive. They're running out of water, they got a little bit of food, tiny little bit of food. Very quiet movie, dialogue wise, which we mentioned earlier. But it feels super real. Like, you're walking out in the middle of the desert, looking for the next, looking for some place to drink some water or something. You're not going to be yapping a lot,
Yeah, and I think what I like too is that they do show the girl and the boy looking rough as the movie goes on. Like, the boy gets a bad sunburn, like she's always got dirt on her face, like they never look clean and fresh, like in some movies now where even if people are like in a battlefield, and it's still like the girl's got makeup on, and it's just like, well, why does she still look like a supermodel, even though she's supposed to be like a Green Beret, like in Afghanistan or something. This movie doesn't do that. Like they do get dirty and roughed up, and so they do kind of keep it like looking as if it's as realistic as possible.
Lots of scenes like this, just showing the scale of the situation. Zooming in on the tiny little dots that are them, and then you see just how big the area that they're wandering around in, gives you that sense of and then like this, just the balance and color in this, just gorgeous.
It's pretty great. What was I just gonna say though, like about the book, the scale? Oh yeah, in the book, like they talk, so it's time wise, it's hard to like tell like how long they're actually out there. But in the book, they talk about like walking like 15 miles, 17 miles a day. And so like in the book, they're out there for they're in the desert for like 8 days, and then they kind of reach this kind of big oasis that they're in for like another 6 days. But like they kind of follow the Aborigine boys trek. So, and they have to keep, like, one of the struggles is keeping pace with him. And by keeping pace with him, they're covering like 15, 17 miles a day. But while like being dehydrated and not eating food and so forth. But you don't really, the sense of time is kind of gone in the movie. It's just, Yeah, like which kind of makes sense though, because like they wouldn't really have much of a sense of time either. I mean, just being wandering in this sort of vast like void, in a sense, or this kind of like wide open landscape where you don't know which direction you're going in, at least when they're alone.
You know what? One line that I really enjoyed was when I think it was just before this scene, but they're walking and the sister says, "Hey, do you want a drink?" And the little boy just says, "No, thanks. I'm not sweating anymore." And you realize, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
But it's just said so simply, like a kid wouldn't know.
Yeah.
That's a bad
Right.
something. But this is where he kind of gives up, rolls down the hill. He's kind of done.
Yeah. And then the fact that she's like carried him, like, and I think that's where like they're actually doing the camera shots too, because they show like her feet. I think when the actor's actually holding the camera.
Yeah, and then they run across this little oasis, little muddy water hole, and get a brief respite from.
I think it's funny that the kid keeps his toys with him the whole time. He doesn't want to give up his toys.
There's good scenes too, like the simplicity of like when he bites into the fruit here, whatever it is, and what does he say? It's delicious.
Yeah.
It's just so innocent and so like it's real. It feels this movie. A lot of it, is real. A lot of the stuff they do, I don't think is special effects,
right.
and like we'll get to it in a little bit, but bro is throwing spears at animals.
No, he like he had a bit of a film career afterwards too, and I think he had been in another movie before this as well, maybe. But yeah, I think he had been part of a tribe, and then like I think he got something like he was taken away from the tribe and then put in like foster care or something like that. But then became like a dancer. It's something. He has a kind of unique history. But then even after like starring in like a bunch of movies, he still kind of kept like a kind of like low key sort of blue collar existence. Like he was still doing like his, I don't know, kind of just Aborigine Australian sort of lifestyle. Like, I mean, he had to have been making some money. I mean, being in like dozens of movies, unless he was getting screwed. I don't know. But I mean, like as I watched like a little bit of this documentary about him, and I mean, it seemed like he kept like a pretty, normal lifestyle, so if he did make some money doing this, like he didn't show it anyways. I don't know.
But yeah, this is they're at the oasis. Water runs out there, and this is where this guy shows up. Again, they're at their kind of their last legs. Seems like they've kind of given up, but here he comes over the horizon, killing lizards you can see around his belt.
Yeah, it's good to get a good glimpse of a lot of flies in that scene.
Yeah. So then this scene happens. The weirdest, the whole time the little boy's yelling, ask for water, and they're trying to communicate. I'm thinking, just do the symbol for water. He does not do the symbol for drinking water. Like he sticks his fingers down his throat. Yeah. He does this weird gulp sound. You need to learn how to drink water, bro. He gets another just great shot, like beautiful shots. So they start following him around. He's for all intents and purposes taking them somewhere, at least as far as they're concerned. This was a scene I did.
Yeah, so I guess so they do come across camels, and this is where like the commentary track does talk about this, and they I guess there are wild camels in Australia, and they were brought there as pack animals to explore the continent. I don't know when, but and so I think it's, if you do like go before this, it is from the little kid's point of view, and so it's him kind of like imagining kind of like explorers, basically on the camels exploring the land. So it's kind of like the little boy's imagination. But yeah, I mean, it may work for some, probably doesn't work for everybody. I do appreciate this kind of thing, because there is like a few different moments like this in the movie where the things kind of come out of nowhere. And which are a bit maybe quirky, though. You could either call it quirky or just fanciful, or extravagant. I don't know, but I mean, I think though, like, they take some risks in terms of like just trying to do something different. Maybe break it up a little bit. Whereas, like I said, like, a Netflix movie today is not going to do something like that. They're not going to get that creative with, their filmmaking.
It also, like, you're reading a book, and they talk about the camels. They might give you a paragraph about, oh, the camels were. It's just it is a decent way to kind of get that point across,
Mm-hmm.
And I got that concept of it. I just didn't get why was it here, kind of a thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
More death. And then, this guy is straight up murdering animals in this movie.
He's hunting
and it's
animals.
yeah, but like, you think, and I didn't, it didn't bother me in the sense of like, this is what it looks like. Is it this scene right here? I think so. Where they intercut it with him basically beating the wounded kangaroo, with the butcher hacking, and it's just kind of like, you may see this as weird and brutal, but backstage of your grocery store, these things, this is how we get food. This is how meat happens.
And I forget what year this movie was. In 1974,
71.
71. So I mean, he was doing this back in 1971, but I mean, people like, Gus Van Sant like did something like this, I think, in like Psycho, like in his Psycho remake, like in the 90s. And so it's like he did this sort of intercutting back in 71, and people were still doing the same thing like in the 90s, and even still doing it, now, with this sort of intercutting of like, look at this contrast. But he did this in 71, where like not too many people were doing this sort of thing. So to like have this sort of intercutting and contrast of different sort of like cultures or way of doing things, was a bit more avant-garde, at least at the time. Now you see this now and you think, oh, like I've that's not, I've seen this before, but like, yeah, true, but not back in 1971. So even though you might look at it now and think like, well, that's not all that original, but you got to think about when this movie was made.
I got Bootlegger and Entertainment saying hi to us. He was on last 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Try to catch every episode.
They're with him. They're walking around the desert. Disgusting, but amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of those, sorry. If you think,
I'm just gonna.
So I was gonna say, if the kangaroo like getting murdered or killings like bothers you, though, did you ever watch the Australian movies like Fright by Night? I think it's called Fright by Night. Okay, that movie shows like literally like hundreds of kangaroos being murdered, and not for like reasons of like hunting, the way he's hunting, like just being shot, like their heads being blown off, and it's like real hunting scenes. But that's another Australian classic.
But like this right here, if you're watching, what he's biting right there are the tendons.
Oh yeah.
Or something out of the leg of the kangaroo that he has killed. And I'm not talking about special effects. This isn't a
Right.
dummy. This isn't the Tauntaun in Star Wars. He kills and then pulls out these stringy things with his teeth from the creature's legs to tie off something on the end of his spear. It's
Yeah.
fascinating. It's like you wouldn't see that in a movie nowadays because A, people would be scared of, offending animal rights activists, even if it was a dummy or a fake thing. Like if it's shocking for our our view of life, that this is the stuff that people still do. These people, there's still Aborigines, there's still people in Africa, there's still people in South America who are doing these very things.
And the crazy thing, like his same people were doing that like 20,000 years ago and still doing it today, which is like pretty insane, cool thing. But
and then they do another intersperse editing thing with them having fun in a tree, and then a group of Aborigines finding the dad and the burnt car. Like a shocking back and forth. Here's innocent fun, and here's
right.
the results of what they've come from, basically.
And I guess it's kind of showing too that the Aborigines don't think much about seeing like this dead person or guy, because it's just like, well, it's kind of what happens out here. This is probably someone who didn't know what they were doing, and maybe the kind of ghost got them.
Another beautiful shot that I liked. At first, I thought it was a forest, because it comes in kind of dark and blurry, and then the feet come in, and you realize, oh, it's just a toy and some sticks. This scene, that's the sunburn scene. If you're watching this, that's more than likely real blood, because just to this, the Aborigine reaches some sort of ground creature, and pulls that out and rubs it on the kid's sunburn.
Yeah,
it's fascinating. I'm fascinated by this, because this is here's the other part that kind of popped up out of nowhere, was the if you look at the top left corner, you can see the page.
Yeah, so it's a transition, like the page turn transition, which you could, which was an effect you could even do in the 90s using like certain like editing tools. But I imagine like doing it back in 1971 probably wasn't quite as easy without the use of computers. The thing with this, like, the little kid's telling a story here. And so, to mimic the idea of the story, that they use a kind of page turn transition, or I don't know if that's what they call that kind of transition. But if I do have one complaint about it, is that they do it maybe one too many times. They could have maybe just done it 3 or 4 times, but it probably happens like 7 or 8 times.
Yeah. It is, and it does kind of come out of nowhere, but I think it's another one of those juxtapositions of the situation you're in, and here's still innocence of a kid just telling a story of almost fairy tale like thing going on.
I kind of almost wish they didn't have like those page turn transitions, because like the kid does a really good job of telling the story. The music that's playing is like really kind of sweet and like simple, and so like unfortunately those transitions kind of take away from the kid telling the story. But
does this play a part in the book?
No, there's a lot, and like the movie adds way more to the book. The book's pretty simple. Like in the book they don't have a radio, that you mentioned. In the book, like the kids are all 3 of the characters are younger. And also the girl in the book is actually kind of like a bitch. she's like pretty mean to the Aborigine boy. And in the story is a little bit more about the younger boy and their Aborigine boy, and them communicating with each other.
Yeah, well,
But
they
though
barely touch on that in this.
yeah, though the girl kind of like redeems herself at the end, but yeah, and it's a bit more of a survival story. So they talk a lot about the landscape and like what the Aborigine boy like does to like find water and so it almost reads like I don't want to say like a nonfiction book because there are some like beautiful sentences and uh, word structure and stuff, but it is just a bit more like, hey, here are these people, they're in this environment, it's survival time. So it just really focuses on that.
Yeah. So this scene comes out of nowhere, goes nowhere, and really has the only thing that kind of carries over is the weather balloons,
The
but
balloons,
you don't need this scene at all for
no,
that scene. So yeah, completely like they went out and filmed all this, and it has
yeah.
no
And
reason.
I guess in the commentary, the girl, because in the commentaries it is Nicholas Rogue, and the girl, I think it's Jenny Gutter or something. That's her last name. But she mentions how like it's always been a complaint that people have even fans of the film have complained about this scene. I guess like the only defense you can maybe give is that maybe it shows that like how close civilization always sort of is or is encroaching or something like that, or
That could be, yeah. And the whole she moves her legs and they all look over and it becomes a comedy skit for a
Oh,
short while.
he did actually. Nicholas Rogue in the commentary does mention, I guess at this time, it actually kind of touches on things that are happening today. It talks about immigration in Australia. I guess at that time in Australia, a lot of Italian immigrants were actually being brought into the country as sort of like cheap labor. And so it was, I don't know, I forgot what he mentioned, but I guess there were a lot of Italian immigrants are flooding into Australia at the time.
Interesting. Carries on. They move into another like beautiful, much better oasis, a little lake or whatever body of water. As this scene, which if you look at if you search up this movie, this seems to be one of the big selling points.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it is interspersed with the Aborigine kid hunting more, doing a lot of survival stuff. And he's building a fire, he's killing more animals, picking fruits off of trees. It's and then this scene I found interesting where he goes and turns on the radio. Like just that little bit of their lifestyle kind of catching him. He's picking up a little bit. He turns on the radio and wants to hear it now,
And that's when like there's like lightning in the background in this scene too, which is pretty amazing that they caught like kind of striking the ground.
Yeah.
Which is pretty
what else we got? The weather balloon makes its comeback. So,
and I guess too, you could argue though that like this is because they are getting closer to the end, and so they are getting closer to like the homes that they eventually find. So I guess it's kind of just showing that that it's sort of a marker, kind of showing that they are getting closer to civilization. I mean, I guess it's an argument you can make. But
some of the shots and scenes very much reminded me of the brothers who did Napoleon Dynamite and Gentleman Broncos, like him just holding the balloon to her.
It's funny. I mean, like with those movies, like I'm not a fan of Napoleon Dynamite, but like I do love Gentleman Broncos just because like just to talk about that really briefly, like if you're anyone who like has been into science fiction at all, especially like even bad science fiction and like are around people who are into like that sort of science fiction fantasy genre, like that movie captures that whole sort of class of like individuals like perfectly.
So they end up finding did I miss a spot? think I might have skipped, maybe it's coming up, but there is a spot where, uh, maybe I'll get to it, but they almost get to a house.
Mhm.
Um, it's a shot where all of a sudden there's a lady, and she's talking
Yeah.
to the Aborigine kid. She watches him. She says something about, "Are you doing okay?" He talks. She says, "Okay, suit yourself." Watches him walk down the hill to this boy and girl down there, and then they pan over, and she's walking to a house. Now, that in and of itself, like, oh, they were that close to,
Uh-huh.
rescue or whatever you want to call it. But then it went to another weird place.
Yeah, where they're making the, like, sort of paper maches kinda,
Souvenirs and
yeah, souvenir shop kinda stuff with the
yeah.
guy, the wacky guy, and I guess
Mhm,
it's a little, like, heavy-handed, but yeah, I guess it's kinda like showing, like, alright, this lady, she's, I guess, in civilization, but, she's, like, depressed because she's with this loser of a guy,
mhm,
and,
and
she's kinda they're kinda stuck on the, like, the borderland of, like, they're kinda in the middle of nowhere, but
mhm.
they're still in a house, but they're obviously taking advantage of like the Aborigines as like cheap labor.
Yeah, and now that thinking on that, it might also be like, um, maybe the kid knew that's not a place you wanna go,
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. That's true too. Right?
you
Maybe.
know? He's taking advantage of all these people. This is not, you might not wanna go there
Yeah,
because you might not come
yeah,
out well.
they got a reputation. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's true.
But they come upon this, what she thinks is a house with people in it, but it's an abandoned house. Nobody's there, and this eh, portion of the movie has some of the most like beautiful shots of an already beautiful movie.
Yeah, I mean that
I
looks
got,
like a postcard right there.
I've got. Let me play this next one. Little video. The crossing over her from the window.
Yeah,
We know now that is.
Just yeah, just beautiful shots. Just
yeah. I mean,
let's see
yeah,
this
just
one.
the framing of the shots and the lighting that they used, and I think uh Nicholas Rogue talks about like he used, I guess, a lot of like bounce cards and reflectors. It doesn't like to use a lot of lights, so it is like
Mm,
a lot of like more natural lighting.
yeah.
He talked about he was once fired from a David Lean film because he didn't use enough lights. Um, so because he, I guess, more for natural lighting.
Yeah, it does like super stark contrasts of the indoors shadows. Um, build a whole lot of mood in that house.
Yeah,
Sort of the I don't know, guess young sexual tension
yeah, and I guess
that's happening between the two of them.
yeah, and going back to like I was talking about the Roger Ebert essay, the kind of visualizing the sort of miscommunication between the two of them, which
Mhm.
in the end ends up in the one character's demise.
Yeah, and then let's see. At one point, yeah, the Aborigine shows a little boy road. But they're here for, it seems, a little bit, until this day when he's straight trying to break this creature's neck. he's he attacks this little water buffalo thing and is trying to crack its neck, but
Yeah,
then he gets interrupted by uh, you know poachers of some sort, and watches them slaughter. Just I guess it seems to be that he watches them slaughter a bunch of animals, just free will, and leaves them to die. where it's not even a need for survival kind of thing. And that seems to have a big effect on the kid.
Yeah, I guess I guess it goes back to though that time or that era, because in the commentary too, the director talks about at that time in Australia, I guess there was like almost no laws when it came to like hunting. So I guess like poaching was just sort of like skyrocketing. They were just like killing everything like left and right. And so they were kind of seeing that even, I guess, as they were making the movie.
Yeah, like this scene, I did not know that much blood could come out of something. So then, the kid walks back to the house, walks past, and just goes on his way. Something's wrong, and ends up in a field of bones, and he's painted up, and no real explanation as to, but clearly he's been affected somehow.
Right. If I do have criticism, I do like the montage that sort of happens like before this, but yeah, this one particular shot like is a little bit self-indulgent. It's not bad, but yeah, it's a little self-indulgent.
And then I got beautifully laid out shot. The fruit by her feet, like radio, like just gorgeous. And then she wakes up at one point, or is getting dressed, and he comes back, and he is not well. Let me play this first before we get to this part. I cut together all his dancing.
Yeah, which I guess is actually his real. So I guess it's. Oh, I don't know if we'll watch it first, I guess. Are you still there?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's he comes back, dances until exhaustion. They show it's an all day, all night thing.
Okay, and, I didn't see, but you played the dance scene.
Yeah. It was,
okay. It buffered on my end, so I wasn't sure.
Oh, okay. Hopefully it didn't buffer on everyone else's end. But,
hey, super for us.
What's that?
You can do the dance for us if they didn't.
Yeah, super. I can see like bird movements in it. Like, most of the dances are of native peoples are taken from animals and birds and stuff, and the movements of those. I could see that, but it's just wild. Like his eyes.
So I guess that was actually his real dance, and I guess it was actually like a real mating dance that was like from his tribe. That he used, so that was like a authentic, I guess, dance.
Oh, okay. Well, particularly if it's a mating dance, that makes more sense.
Yeah, and hence, so like, and I guess, the idea like why he becomes the way it is he saw it as being refused, or she refused him.
Yeah, because I was kind of reading it as him watching, the white men do their thing, and realizing that we're not compatible.
Yeah, no. So the juxtaposition of those things, it makes it seem like that's what it's for. And I mean, maybe it's supposed to be that way. I mean, in the movie, because you obviously can't really know it's supposed to be a mating dance, but I mean, though there is, like you said, like the sexual tension before that. So I don't know. I think maybe, just in terms of like how things are kind of laid out, like the timeline sort of things that kind of could have probably been rearranged differently to make it a little bit more obvious. But
yeah, so he ends up, I guess, killing himself. Not exactly sure how, because he's just kind of hanging by his arms, but we'll just let that go.
Yeah.
because the you get the notion. Like,
yeah, there's the book mentions this too. So similar thing happens in the book, and I guess there is something about like there. I guess as people, they're extremely sensitive in terms of it. Like they do have like this thing where they can. I mean, I don't know if it's BS or not, but can sort of will themselves to death if they believe that like if things aren't correct, exactly right in a sense. So like sort of like a kind of death wish kind of thing. I guess that's something they practice or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't really looked into it, but
let's see. We got a comment. It says, so did he hang himself or was he killed? I get the feeling that it was a self-done thing. There's no hint of anyone showing up, and it's clear that he's been affected by things going on around him.
it's a suicide, but it's not exactly elaborate as to how he killed himself.
The another thing about this movie, the acting wise, is it's very is that Jenny Agutter?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. There's not much emotion for a lot of it, when their dad does his thing, it's just there's not like screaming, freaking out. It's like it's
almost very matter of fact.
Yeah. And then that part when he dies, there's a sadness that happens, but it's not over the top. It's not, they're not trying to like play your emotions up. It's just, now we have to continue on kind of a thing. It's
in that way so I mean it's weird like because some of it's like a little melodramatic, like the part with like him laying in the bones and so forth. I mean, I don't know if you call it melodramatic, but like maybe a little heavy-handed. But yeah, when it comes to the actual characters themselves, they're just sort of like moving through like the world as maybe spectators, but and maybe at least at the end you can kind of see maybe why they wouldn't be as emotional, just because they're probably just drained and exhausted, and it's just like, oh well, like we're still just trying to survive.
And they've also really become kind of familiar with death at this point.
Yeah, right.
So and then they finally find a place where there's someone who speaks English, someone who's kind of a civilized place. It seems to be an abandoned town, and the only person living there is this guy who's kind of the groundskeeper guard of the place, and he's an asshole.
Yeah, I do like the line in this though, because he's like, it's a mine. He's like, oh, what did they dig out of there? He's like, nothing. That's why it closed.
Yeah, and he tells them that there'll be a bus around at some point to bring tourists. And so they go to the mine, and just some beautiful shots of the mine, just kind of like you said earlier, this is some pointless meandering that they did, but it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is like very little dialogue, but it's kind of like refreshing, especially compared to like movies nowadays, that they just don't fill it with a bunch of like pointless dialogue. Like I rather it be like well framed, beautiful shots and showing the environment than just a lot of pointless obligatory dialogue that means nothing. Yeah, she was in Logan's Run. Yeah, I think she was 16 when they filmed this.
Let's see. They continue on. Apparently, from there they do get rescued. The bus probably becomes. They don't elaborate. We don't need to see it. We know what happens. Cut to the very same apartments that they were in when they were kids. Their mom and dad were in. Back to civilization, so to speak. And this part, I just wanted to point out, that's cigarette ash that you see right by the cutting board. She's smoking and like just dropping ashes.
Yeah. Which, I mean, back in 1971, that was probably pretty common occurrence.
Yeah, it's probably why our food doesn't taste as good anymore. It doesn't have that smoky flavor, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm considering like at least one of my grandmothers. I'm sure there was plenty of ash in the like spaghetti and meatballs she made. I mean, there was definitely a cloud of smoke. I mean, a layer of smoke that existed in that house. So, is that like liver she's cutting up? Looks like liver.
Yeah, it looks like it. I also noticed in this scene the difference between at the beginning of the movie how really fresh and clean those fruits looked, and how kind of not those ones in the back look.
Mm.
And I was wondering, is this like a now that she's lived life, picked stuff straight from the tree, is this how she sees the things now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Yeah, it's possible because even like at the beginning too, when they drive out in the Volkswagen to the desert, she has like that like fruit bowl that she puts down on the picnic table, and it's like bright and colorful, and it's like a beautiful shot of like the picnic.
Yeah.
But yeah, like now, right? She was like eating like fruit out in like the desert and like nature, and now she's got like the produce back from like the grocery store that it's probably not as fresh.
Yeah, how her perception has changed, because we go to the grocery store and we think, oh, this is the best stuff ever. And then you go and try cherries from a tree in the middle of a warm summer day. And it's like, oh no, this is something special.
Yeah.
So yeah, then she's back home. She's her husband or whatever comes home telling her about his day, and she's just remembering, just ignoring everything he said.
Yeah, a little Stepford wives.
Remembering the good old days when they were just naked and free out in the forest. Right. And let's see what we got left. And then it ends. One of the ending shots is these next few frames of brick, and then the natural stone walls.
It's funny how like even those shots of brick are really nice looking.
So yeah, that's pretty much wraps up how it went. What would you say for if somebody wanted to watch this? Like, how would you sell it?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I asked, hey, give me 5 movies. Right. No real. I didn't say like convince me to watch it. I was going to watch something. But if someone was like, hey, why do you like this movie? Why should I watch it?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, it's a beautiful looking movie. It's semi-adventure movie in terms of like it's about survival. So I think for a lot of people like Australia, if you're not from Australia itself can kind of be a selling point because I think for anyone who doesn't live there, it's a little bit like it's that wacky place down under. Like it's kind of like I don't know. I think it's a unique place in terms of like the world map in general. I don't know. It has its own vibes that or it seems to have its own vibes that just don't exist anywhere else in the world. I mean, I haven't been there myself, but in terms of like the outback, like you just always hear like the outback, it's this kind of dangerous place, and it has like animals that you don't really see anywhere else, and that sort of thing. So I think just it being set in Australia is kind of a thing, and so it's a survival story in Australia. Also, it's, I would say, for a movie that was made in 1971, there was a lot of kind of innovation in it in terms of what he was trying to do artistically. So it's a very artistic movie, but without, I think, being, except for in a few instances, without being pretentious. So I think you can show this to even like young kids. And I think like it's kind of an adult movie for young kids too, like, because it's not like, it doesn't, I don't know, pardon the language, pussyfoot around things. But at the same time, it's not like gratuitous in terms of what it's showing it, because what it's showing is just stuff that's, natural to, the world. And so I think it's something you get, it's a family movie, but like, Well, but I mean, it's a family movie without being stupid. Like you could watch this with younger kids and just say, hey, that's the reality of what life is like out in these harsher environments.
Yeah, it had. To me, it did have, like you said, an adult. It was like an adult family in the sense it felt a lot like what Disney was doing in the 70s. With a lot of movies or even into the 80s and 90s, where they were trying to tell, not like, what's that one movie? Journey of Natty Gann.
Oh, that sounds familiar, but I don't know.
It's a movie about a girl who, during the Great Depression, her dad goes to Oregon to be a logger, and she ends up having to go across the country to find him. But there's a lot of that, wide open spaces showing the world, but it's Disney, so it doesn't get into some of the blood, the death, that kind of stuff.
Lady on the side of the road, and gives her a pie. Yeah.
but it does have that feel of like when Disney was trying to, I don't know, tell real stories.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because the book is sort of compared to like a more like, I don't know, realistic version of like the Swiss Family Robinson. Even though I mean it's nothing really like that, but it did get compared to that, I guess.
Even like what's the Homeward Bound?
Okay. Is that the geese?
No, the one with the dog, the two dogs and the cat.
Yeah. Okay.
Like that had a very similar feel to me. Musically, tonally, but under Disney's banner with their kind of guidance. This doesn't have beautiful movie. Thanks for the recommendation on this one.
We're glad you got to take a look at it. If you're interested like in his filmmaking in general, like you should look at Don't Look Now. It's an interesting movie. A lot of people don't like it, but I'm a fan. Like The Man Who Fell to Earth. Is with David Bowie.
I've been wanting to see.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like it. The book is good too. I'm a fan of the book.
I did listen to that fairly recently in the last
the album.
Which album? The audiobook.
Oh, the audiobook. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. How did you like the book?
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's and I knew that Bowie was in the movie. I'm like, will I ever get around to watching it?
I think it's funny. From what I mean, it's been years since I read the book, but I do like the idea, like the invention he creates is like a little like, like BB that would like play lots of music or hold a lot of music is like the invention that he created. It's like, oh yeah, we don't really need that anymore, but I know that's one of the inventions.
Got a question. What do I think? So I don't know if you've seen me on X. Every day during my work week, I'm trying to listen to a full album. I'm trying to break out of TikTok mind. Short bursts of whatever. So that's why I've tried to start reading more comics, and like not just sticking my stuff on shuffle, just listen to a full album, kind of get the overall feel of it, kind of a thing. And this was one of the suggestions this week was Squirrel Nut Zippers, which, I have heard before. I had the album and it's a great album. There's never a point where I wouldn't enjoy that.
Is that like the song, like the Hell song, like the single?
Yeah. That was their big, biggest hit is that album. But very classic, like 20s sound to swing and jazz. Are
they still around as a group?
Boy, I don't know.
That's a while. What did you? Yes. Oh wow. Okay, good for them. Damn. Quite the run.
Yeah, and then
I did see you listen to Angel Dust. What did you think of Angel Dust? Faith No More?
Faith No More. I get the musicianship.
Yeah.
I get, that he has like a multi-range voice and all that. And, and I love Epic's Still a Rad song. I really dig the cover that they do of Easy Like Sunday Morning.
Great. Yeah. They're a great cover band, actually. All their covers are as good as the originals, if not better.
Yeah. And then there was one of the songs on there, I forget which one it was, that I was like, okay, I could see this is kind of, but generally speaking, I was like, I don't to be fair, I felt that way. So like last week, previous week, the Talking Heads, 77, their first album.
Yeah.
I love Psycho Killer. It's a great song. The rest of it, I'm like, I just don't get it.
Bring Me Up, is that on there? Bring Me Up or Drag Me Up? It's like, that's another good song on there. I mean, it's not one of their more like easier to listen to albums in terms of. I mean, like I think with all the Talking Heads albums, there's like 3 or 4 like really really good like songs, and then other ones like are just like meh. But
let me see if
what did you think of the Helmet? Is it Meantime you listened to?
Yeah, that one I dug. Okay. What's their big album was Hum? No, what was their big album? The one with like Milk Toast on it.
Betty,
that's what it was. I had that album, so I was already familiar with them. I was just like, I'll listen to something else, see if it's still because Betty was like the Crow soundtrack had one of the songs on there, and so that kind of like, okay, sometimes you get to liking something because it's in a movie and it fits the movie so well, kind of a thing. So but that was a good album.
Yeah, I mean,
they have great riffs.
Yeah, I mean, like Unsung, like even though it was like a radio hit, like that's still a song. Like 50 years from now, people will still be listening to it and be like, "Oh, this is a good song." I don't like that.
Yeah. Let's see. I listened to Cake Fashion Nugget this week.
Okay.
Which is fantastic. Cake's pretty darn good, and that's a really great.
Yeah, album. I mean, I gotta listen to them more. I mean, they've been kind of hit and miss with me in terms of like their singles, but I've never really listened to like a full album of theirs, so I can't really speak to
them. Small Faces is another one I listened to. No, it's let me see if I can get this is the album cover. I think 60s, early 60s. Which CD? Which CD bootlegger? The Small Faces or the one I mentioned previously, which I don't remember what it was. Cake. That's the one, because you had commented on X. That's right. But Small Faces is like definitely like following in the footsteps of the Beatles, but vocally like what's the guys that sing House of the Rising Sun?
Oh, the Animals.
Yeah, it had like with some of that vocal in it. Not bad. I did not mind that album at all. It was actually pretty solid. What else did I listen to? Scrolling the Zippers is the last one. What's this one? This guy, his band is called my brother suggested it. This is the album cover. PD USA. He's I think he just does it all himself. Like he puts it, and he's got a formula to each song. It starts off kind of little electronic melody and beat, and then builds into like an anthem. And I really enjoyed that album. It was usually my brother suggests an album. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a listen. Yeah. But this one, I'm like, I actually enjoyed it. So.
That's cool.
But let's see, what does he got to say? The Donnas are a fun listen.
I haven't heard them in a while. Dang.
I'm pretty sure. Do they have a big song? What's their big song?
Yeah, they probably have like 1 or 2 like hits. I know they're like on VH1 all the time on all those like shows.
But anyways, so thanks for coming on again.
It was fun. Yeah, I like to go in. I like to go in depth on the movie. Though I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, yeah. I like to know what, you know. One of the reasons I decided to do these sorts of things is I want people to hear like you know, talking about this movie and say, oh, okay, I get a sense of his storytelling. I get a sense of what he enjoys. And you know, if they connect, then, you know, go get your book, take a look at your campaign and stuff like that. You know, if with Bootlegger, Christian Bootlegger, we did music.
Mhm.
And talked about music. And so, you know, maybe someone will be like, oh, okay, I dig his musical tastes, you know, maybe I'll like his story.
Yeah.
You know, maybe this. So that's the big hope. So,
I am a little disappointed though. I heard you didn't like Phantasm.
Oh no, okay, let's clear this up. It was a bad movie that I loved.
Oh, okay, you did like it. Oh, okay. I thought I saw like you and X saying like you and was it Pages? What's the guy's?
Strange Pages,
saying like that was a terrible movie. I was like, what?
Yeah, he did not like it. He did kind of grow to appreciate the cinematography of it, because again, that's another one that's just shot really well.
Yeah, no, it's a great looking movie.
But he didn't like the writing. I understand, like, it's not a good movie, but it's so enjoyable. Like,
it's
top to bottom.
Yeah, it's a very entertaining movie. Yeah, no, it's one of my favorites as well. Like one of my favorite horror movies. Like it's one of those movies that you can see them making it like as you're watching it, and I think that's what's like kind of like enjoyable about that movie, because like yeah, like they're not spending. I mean, they're not you know, they're not fooling you with anything that they're doing. You can see all the effects as they're happening, you know, but like you can see like the passion that like went into that movie. And I'd rather see like a movie that you could see like the passion in the making of it than just some like trash that's just been pumped out just to, you know. So
yeah. I do want to see more of it. It got me interested in like, who is this tall man? Like, what's going on after this? I want to see. The only problem is I can watch every single other one except for part 2, which I have to rent.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, all the rest of them are free, but I don't want to like go out of order.
Yeah. Part two is probably the only other one kind of definitely like as entertaining. I don't remember the other ones as much. You know, basically what happens with the other ones is like the spheres just get more evolved. They just do more stuff, you know, and microwave your burrito and stuff like that. But but no, it's good stuff.
So, all right, well, let's go ahead and
wrap
this stream up. Thanks for joining in the chat, everyone, and coming on. And maybe we'll do it again for another movie at some point, or pick some music or whatever. But
we'll watch Walkabout
next. Yeah, do that. And go check out The Filthy, Dirty, and the Dead, which I should have posted link in the comments, huh? But all right, have a good night, everyone.
See you later.